Maharaj Pranam, Hare Krishna.
My pranams to you. So honored, so grateful to be with you today, Roshni.
Maharaj, just anything small from the beginning part of your life as a person who started seeking God. Any situation, any anecdote, any event that just comes up to your mind right now that you would like to share with youngsters?
Everyone is looking for pleasure. Everyone is looking for a meaningful experience in life. But so many times in our lives, there's so many frustrations we meet because we're looking externally for something that's within. When I was just a teenager traveling in the Himalayas as a sadhu, one very, very great sage spoke an analogy to me. There's a particular deer, and from one of the organs in his body, an excretion comes out that is most fragrant. It is called musk. This deer smells the fragrance, becomes so attracted, wants to find it, wanders over rivers, through jungles, encounters great dangers, but never stops seeking for this fragrance. And ultimately, the deer dies. He never discovered that that fragrance was actually within himself. And similarly, the real pleasure, the real joy, the real meaning, the real love that everyone is seeking is within our own hearts. The Atma, the living force, the soul, is a child of God, a part of God, and it's divine. And that's who we are. Beyond birth, beyond death. When we tap into the divine love that's within our heart, then we become an instrument of that love in whatever we do. Then our life is truly special.
We are at this place at the Govardhan Eco Village and would like to learn from you a brief about the vision of how this village and why this village came about.
Eco Village is a humble attempt to express our gratitude to our Guru, to God, and to all the gifts that we have received. Because actually, there is a beautiful potential that sometimes we fail to see. When we find that potential within ourselves, when they found that potential within other people, within nature, then we really become wealthy. One of the projects of our Eco Village is every time someone flushes the toilet, it goes down through a gravity pipe into a little pond, and then it's through solar power, it's pumped up, and that sewage, through gravity, goes down through various forms of roots and rocks and herbs, and when it comes in the bottom, it's clean water. And where the sewage is being processed, it's like a little paradise. There's so many flowers and trees and fruits growing. And we like to tell people when they come to the Eco Village that every time you deposit something in the toilet and flush it, the flowers become more fragrant and bloom more beautiful. And that's a principle, that there's so much waste because we don't see the incredible potential in the things that we have. If we see how we are all connected and how everything is connected, then we see that unity can create transformations for everyone's benefit. So this eco-village is based on the principle of yoga. Yoga means to harmonize the body, the mind, with the living force, the soul. And when we find that harmony, then we extend to harmonize with God, to live in harmony with other people of all species of life, and with nature, the environment. Everyone is equally dependent on the same environment. Whatever our religion, whatever our nationality, whatever our race, whatever our economic status may be, we breathe the same air. We're dependent on the rains for the same water. We're dependent on the grains that's coming from the same Mother Earth. So when we are negligent and we pollute or exploit Mother Earth, we're causing harm to all life and ultimately to ourselves. So part of the principle of karuna or compassion is to be compassionate to the environment, to not exploit, but to see that this is sacred property. We are not the proprietors of anything. Whatever knowledge we have, whatever wealth we have, whatever power we have, whatever influence we have, the spiritual principle is we are caretakers of God's property. This is a universal principle at the heart, at the essence of all great spiritual traditions. We are caretakers of divine property. And the more we live in harmony with that understanding, service or seva is the real joy of life. Giving is a greater pleasure than receiving. It's more meaningful. And then we can become extremely enthusiastic and skillful in receiving, in gaining, because we have the higher purpose. The more we have, the more we can give. It's our principle to earn with integrity and spend with compassion. And Govardhan Eco Village is a simple project where we're protecting various types of animals, including cows, and sheep, and goats, because we see that they're children of God too, who are life-loving. And if you go and see even our donkeys, because they're given some respect, they're so friendly and they're so loving. What to speak of the dogs and the cows and everyone else that's here. And of course that includes people. That when we see the divine within ourselves, then naturally we see the divine wherever there's life, and we respect it, we honor it.
What would be the one vision for the world for this model that has been created, and how can a common man contribute to this vision?
The vision is to be with people who actually bring the good out in us, so that we could bring the good out in others. It's very simple, but it's a beginning. We find in all the great spiritual traditions throughout humanity, there's a particular person who sees the good, who sees the divine in others and brings it out, and then they want to bring it out in others, not in a sectarian way, in a judgmental way, but with true love, with true compassion, with true respect for life.
What would be your one message to the new young generation of today?
My humble request to the young generation of today is, please do not be distracted by things that later on you'll find have been a waste of your life. Understand that we're looking for true joy, and the real joy of life is to love and to be an instrument of compassion. And that's something that we have. And the younger we are, when we start to cultivate the awareness and the passion to find that compassion within us, with whatever we learn, with whatever skills, education we have, we can do great things for the world if they're built on the foundation of this love for God and compassion for all beings. That's the greatest gift that we've all been given. Please do not be distracted from that.
Could we have one thing that we could hear from you, that you would like to quote from the Gita? Any shloka, anything that you would like to quote?
Sarvayonishu kontiya murtiya sambhavantiya tasam brahmahajoniraham bija pratapita. That we are all coming from the same source. Krishna tells in Gita that the supreme truth, the supreme being, or God, is the father and mother of all living beings. We are all truly brothers and sisters in spirit. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, and everything is the divine property of the Lord. If simply we see that the joy of life, the greatness of life, is to use everything in harmony with the will of the divine, and we see all living beings as the children of the divine, then we could bring unity, we could bring peace, we could bring spiritual love to the world. Whether we're doctors or lawyers or politicians or farmers or software engineers or mothers or fathers or students, every particular profession is a perfect and wonderful medium to express our love for God and our compassion to all beings.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.